I am Tony, and this is Tuesday, June 18th, Noon Nuggets from Elizabeth Inman Ministries. And today I would like to talk with you about Proverbs 17, 14, and 15. The beginning of strife is as one letteth out water. Therefore, leave off contention before it be meddled with. He that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to the Lord. So I would like to start off talking about that, the strife. It says it's like he that letteth out water. So think about like a dark gray sky, and you kind of know the storm's coming, and all of a sudden that one drop hits. All of a sudden that one drop hits, and then the next, and then it's just this deluge. So that's what happens with one harsh word to somebody. It might, oh, that hurt. And then the hurt just keeps coming and overwhelms them and angers and hurts and stirs up contention. And that's what it's talking about. Leave contention alone. Don't speak the hurt. Don't speak hurtful words. Leave it alone before it's even built up and meddled with. So we are to take every thought captive to the Lord, every thought, every word. And that is how we can guard against speaking hurtful words or being contentious to others, stirring up contention. And then what about the other side of that, though, when they say it to us, like they hurt us, we're offended, we're hurt, and in our flesh, what we love to do, well, I have a right to say something back. I have a right to let them know they hurt me, and I'll let them know, and we get upset and we fire back. And that's meddling with. That's the other part about the meddling with. We're back and forth and with it. We're participating in it. And that's where we have to stop. Because this next part talks about he that justifieth the wicked. So we try to justify our own wickedness in speaking hurt and being unkind because, well, they hurt me first. That's an abomination to God. But look at that next part. He that condemneth the just. So if we maintain like we ought to be, and we don't take that bait and get into contention and lock horns and speak hurt and get drug into these things that our flesh will drag us into, that can be petty, that can be taking offense when we should not, and those type things. It says the abomination is the person that condemned the just, which means then it's on them. It's not on us. That's the abomination. Now, yeah, we're hurt, but we take that to God. He cares about all our hurts, and he sees that. He sees our hurts and counts our tears because he loves us and he cares. And when Jesus came to this earth, he went through the same hurts that we go through. Rejection, unkindness, hard times. He even said, a Son of Man doesn't have a place to lay his head. Like, he knows hurt. And he went through the temptations in the wilderness, and so he knows the things we face. How easy would it have been all those times the scribes, the Pharisees, tried to trick him and said things to him that were unkind. He didn't respond with more unkindness. He responded with wisdom and compassion, but firm truth. This is our example. This is how we should be responding to others. And this is why we take our thoughts, our words captive, to make sure we're not the abomination. I don't want to be an abomination to God. And the way to do that is to make sure that we're aligned with Him and that it's not us. And to make sure when we feel like a lash out or a smack back is coming, oh yeah, I got something to say back to you too. Well, that's where we have to guard. And I say these things not just to everybody else, but I never deal with this. No, absolutely not. I have a bit of wit. I have a bit of temper when I feel hurt, angry. I can say stuff with the best of them. And it's not, I don't necessarily say something unkind, but what I say can be with a tone and attitude. It's that same thing about even that. Like, we have to be very, very guarded, very sensitive to, are we speaking love and light? Are we taking on an offense that's not ours to take, because God handles the offenses for us? We don't have to. Offense isn't ours to take. And truth stands for itself. Our very soul is precious to Him, and He guards it, defends it. And we're to be about pleasing Him. If man has something to say and they're not happy with us for whatever reason, guess what? Doesn't matter. We're to be about pleasing Him. That's to be our focus, our intent, what we live for, what we strive for. And all of that starts with aligning ourselves with Him so that we don't cause offense to others, so that we don't take on offense from them when there would be no reason to. Because He even told His followers, if they reject you, they're rejecting me. So none of that's meant for you to take and be upset and offended by. Let Him have it. That's what He's there to guard us and take those hurts and offenses, and He can bring comfort to us. And then if somebody did something to hurt or offend us, He says we're supposed to love them anyway, pray for them. And there will be times that He can restore broken relationships, because one person in that relationship, one of them said, I'm just going to stop. I'm going to stop the contention, the arguing, and I'm going to pray, and I'm going to love, and I'm going to let God have that and see what He does with it. That's how relationships are restored. Hearts and lives are changed because somebody stops that cycle of the back and forth. Somebody gives it to God. Somebody is there saying, no more. I'm not going to live offended. I'm not going to live hurt and angry. I can give all that to God. And He'll take that and replace it with peace and love. So that's what we have to remember, that it's His. And that once we start those words of offense, you can't take them back. You can turn that faucet off and the water stops coming out, but the wet is in that sink. It's still in that sink that it was wet. It was there. We leave a mark on people. We leave a mark on their souls when we speak offense to them and hurt them or cause anger. And we have to remember that and just make sure that our hearts, what comes out of our mouth, comes from them So if our hearts are right and lined with God, our words, our actions will be. So we have to remember mercy. That's the example that Jesus gave. All the times he was faced with people and blatant sin against him. And what he did was love them and show them a better way. He didn't condemn or harm them. He loved them. And we have to remember that that's our example and what we're supposed to be. And that's part of his word, part of his commands that we love. I hope you guys all have